4 travel creators, 4 completely different ways of seeing the world. And between them, one tip that generally stopped me in my tracks and made me rethink how I travel. One hack that could save you lots of time planning your next trip. And one piece of advice I feel like everybody should know. These are the reels that have been sitting in my folder for the last 4 weeks, and I feel like I need to share them. They were Instagram lives from travel creators, and this week we are talking to Gerrit from Hidden Holland, and he has a wealth of knowledge about the tulip season, which is kind of just around the corner. So let's get
Ladies and gentlemen, this is your captain speaking.
Welcome aboard Truly Expat Travel, where we're ditching the guidebooks, fastening our seatbelts, and diving into real stories from travellers who have traded the ordinary for the extraordinary, proving the world really is too big to be left unexplored. Cabin crew, be seated and ready for takeoff.
Okay, Garrett, it's just you and me on here at the moment. Let's try and figure this out. Oh, you're here!
I think I'm here. Oh my God. I'm here. Hey.
So far, it's just you and me on here just a second. So so luckily that, I don't know what happened, and it said you're a moderator again. So I don't know what happened.
Let's all forget all about it. It never happened. We're here.
Let's start again. Okay, so let's start again. Well, obviously there's just nobody here at the moment, but okay, no, we're getting people joining now. So
Nice.
let's start. Oh, that was funny. So obviously I'm not very good at technology and I don't know what I'm doing, but I'm glad.
This has well been me. I would not be surprised.
It was so funny. Okay, so let's start. So this is Garrett from Hidden Holland, and for those who don't know him, he was on my podcast before talking all about Holland, but this time we're talking about the tulips and tulip season because it's very important. It's one of the most, I get, sought after tours to do in Holland, in the Netherlands. So I thought the perfect guest to come on would be you, because you know all about it, not just because you're a fun guy and I love catching up, but also you know a thing or two about Holland because you're a tour guide. So let's get started, and you just tell us a little bit about yourself and then we'll start asking you about questions. So go for it.
Okay, so I'm Garrett. My website is hiddenholland.com. And yeah, I'm trying to help people visiting the Netherlands to have a better vacation than they would have otherwise. I also do private tours. I help people with consultation calls, and I write blog articles to help people find the information they need. Like you said, tulip season is the high season in the Netherlands. A thing that often people forget. They think, oh, it's spring, it's probably a little bit quieter than summer. It's a great time to visit. And we catch the tulip as a nice extra benefit. But it is the main reason for many, many, many people to book their trip in April. Yeah. So it is super busy, and it is important to know when to be here. It's very exact timing, and it's very busy. But if you do the right planning, it's a fantastic time to be there. It's beautiful.
So what month did you say April? April's the best month to do it?
I did say April. So what many people think is that it's from mid-March to mid-May. And that is because there's a famous flower garden called Keukenhof. You might have heard about it. And that's open for 2 months. And a lot of people connect the two as one. So they say, okay, it's flower season is Keukenhof and Keukenhof is flower season, which is only partly true. So to see the real tulip fields, like you see them on those fantastic, in those magazines or those social media posts with the stretching fields as long as the eye can see, those only bloom for a few weeks. And the safest period for them to see is the final 2 weeks of April. And if you're lucky, the first week of May.
Okay, that's good to know. And so for those planning, what is the best, so I want to really see the tulips. Tell me a little bit more about what I should know. And what can you do that's a little different to just jumping on a bus with about 50 other people?
Right, because unfortunately, that is how most people get to see it.
Yeah.
And I say unfortunately because there are a few different ways of seeing the flowers. So if you're only in the Netherlands for a few hours or just a day and you want something quick and easy, then definitely go to the tulip garden, to the Keukenhof Park. It's beautifully landscaped. There's all these varieties of spring flowers and it's breathtaking. It's definitely worth going, but it's not the fields. So if you have a little bit more time, then I would say do both. And then most people get on those buses. But the thing with the buses is, and this is something that surprises so many people, is there are like 2 different areas in the Netherlands for tulip growing. And it's a 2-year process. So there is the fields that people are taken to, which is close to Amsterdam and the airport, which is actually the area where they grow them for harvesting for the supermarkets, for the flower shops, which means they cut them before they flower. So most of the fields are green. You don't see a color at all. And there are patches of colors. There are some tulip growers there for testing, for example, or tourist companies, like bus companies, who pay those farmers to let them bloom instead of harvesting them.
Yeah.
But these are smaller fields, and there are hundreds of people coming with multiple buses, and you're just fighting for that selfie image, you know, that everybody tries to get.
Yeah.
Then there's also the large production fields, the one that you see, you know, with those drone photos and footage and all of that. And those are the ones that you want to see, but those are about an hour and a half away, an hour to an hour and a half away from Amsterdam, and the tour buses usually do not go there. But if you make the effort to get out there, that's when you get to see the really, really beautiful fields.
Okay. And you can take people to those?
I can take people there. So I have a few different tulip tours that I do. I take people to the Keukenhof garden. What I like most is take them first to the gardens, because it is incredibly beautiful. And then we drive out for the rest of the day to those beautiful tulip fields, far, far away from the tourist buses. It's usually just us, like our group at the tulip field. Maybe there's another local cycles by or drives by, but that's it. It's truly like both, you get both, the best of both worlds in the same day. So that's a tour I really, really love. Another one that I do is behind the scenes, which is also kind of really fun. You need to get up very early for that, so I warn right in front. But then we go to the flower auction. It's the largest flower auction in the world, and you see actually all those tulips and all the flowers being traded, and there are millions of them, and they pass you by right under you. So I guide people there first, and then we go to the tulip field, so you kind of get to see how they're grown and then how they're being traded. So those are 2 really cool tulip tours that people do not get to see when they're on the bus. So yeah, and of course I can make days also custom. So if you have only time for the tulip fields, or you only, you know, you have a couple of hours, then we can do that too. And if that's not something, because it's not for everybody, then another way to see is to rent a car and go see them on your own. Although you have to deal with foreign traffic and have to be comfortable with that, and it's quite busy in the Netherlands. So those are the 2 ways to do it. It's a little bit more effort, but it's very rewarding if you make the effort.
Wow, how exciting.
Yeah.
I really feel like I need to come to the Netherlands to see the tulips.
I'm getting so excited myself again for them, even though I live there all of my life. It's every year it's special that they come back, you know? And it's always fun to be in those fields. It's so colorful, and it's just like colors pop around you all over. It's so pretty.
Is it warm there at that time of year? Like, am I taking a jacket with me if I come?
So this is something good to keep in mind. So a lot of people ask me, but how can we time it? Because you say it's only 3 weeks and it's nature. So how do we time it correctly? And that's very difficult. So if you truly, truly want to see it, come in the last week of April, the final week of April, and that's a very short window, and it's also King's Day, and so that can be fun for people. It also adds more crowds, and also higher prices. But that week is like the golden week. Then it's almost 100% sure that tulips. And otherwise, keep in mind a little bit of the weather reports in the months before. Like for example, now we have kind of a cold winter in the Netherlands, which usually mean they flower a little bit later. So then instead of like half of April, it might be 3, 4, 5 days later. And last year we had a very warm winter, and then it was all over at the beginning of May. Like I think it was the 1st or 2nd of May that they started to cut all the flowers. So that you book them the 5th of May, you're out of luck. So you kind of need to plan this pretty carefully.
Okay, and so if someone comes and they're booked in to see the tulips, but they've already been cut, what's another option for them to go for a tour with you?
So with a tour with me, there's many options we can do. There's so many beautiful places in the Netherlands that people never get to know about because they only visit Amsterdam. So I love to take people on a countryside tour. Lots of people have kind of an idea about places. They heard about names. There's like a classic tour, and of course we can do it too. And if we do it together, instead of the tour buses, we still get to see the tourists, but I can take you away from it. You know, I can go a few streets backwards and I can show you more local things. But I also, if people are open for it and they trust me, then I really would love to take them to my Netherlands kind of tour and take them to towns and places that the tour bus never touches, but are really, really pretty. So that's the thing we can do. Another tour that's very popular is to go to the Krullenmuller Museum. That's a museum in the middle of the country, about an hour and a half away from Amsterdam.
Yeah.
It's in the middle of a national park, and therefore it's kind of difficult to get there, but it also makes it so special. It's a completely different experience to experience art in nature than it is in a city. So those are things that I love to take people to. And with the flowers, you know, I cannot do much with the flowers anymore once they're cut. Of course, you can always visit the Keukenhof gardens. It's always open a few weeks longer.
Okay.
But if people are a little bit too early, there are other spring flowers that also are being grown on a commercial scale, which is also incredibly beautiful. So hyacinths, dandelions, all of those types of flowers.
Yeah.
So we can always do that as an alternative. So we can definitely see flowers. And I always strive. I can still help people move a few days in their schedule to move it in the right, you know, window.
And the best way to get in touch with you if they want to come on a tour?
If they want to come on a tour with me, and especially in April, do it sooner than later. And I'm not saying that because I want my tours booked. It's actually it's so busy. Just in the last 24 hours, I got already 3 days filled. And when I'm booked, I'm booked. And it's a short window. So right now, I think I'm about halfway already booked, and it's only February. And a lot of people wait until the last week to see the weather report, and then they try to book, but then 99% it's already booked. So book it. We make it fun, rain or shine. I always find alternatives and fun things to do, even though the weather's not the greatest. Sometimes it's even prettier because you get the more dramatic skies if there's clouds and everything. So it's not a bad thing. The best way to do it, go to my website, hiddenholland.com. There's a button, or there's like a menu on the top right that says book a private tour with me. Or if you just want to learn more about tulip season in spring, there's also a button in that same menu that says spring 2026. And when you click it, you get all of my content around it. That's the easiest way.
Okay, but they also can call you up for a consultation as well?
Yes, absolutely. So I also offer consultation calls. Thanks for bringing that up. That is something I love doing, because then I can really go personal. You know, when I'm talking to you and I see your personality, I can usually pretty quickly figure out what things are truly interesting to you. Or when it's like a massive museum you want to go visit, most people want to go to the Van Gogh and the Rijksmuseum. There's so many rooms, like which are actually the ones that you personally like, or, you know, what fits in your schedule, or, you know, all of these things, where you're traveling from. And then I can really personalize my advice. For people that end up booking a tour, those costs are included in the tour price. So I take the cost off from the private tour cost. And if you end up not wanting a private tour, but just want to fine tune your itinerary and make sure the timing is right, there's not too much on there, but also not too little. If it actually fits with you, then of course you can also book it as a separate service. And we take 90 minutes. And in those 90 minutes, we walk through the plans you already have. We create new ones if you don't have them. I can give you local recommendations. I can give you things that I love to go to that are away from the tourist streets, that are away from the TikTok videos, but where we Dutch people actually go to. So those are things we can do in a call like that. And with 90 minutes, we have plenty of time with that. And then at the end, I will send you a summary of everything we talked about and the video recording, so you can go back in and like, what did he say?
Perfect.
Trying to make your vacation just a little bit more local.
And do you have any other tips before we head off for anyone that's wanting to come at the tulip season?
Make sure, again, timing have to absolutely right. Try to do a little bit of research on how to make great photos with tulips. You know, it's kind of a little bit of technique with a wide angle, and it's really frowned upon if people walk in the flower fields, which unfortunately happen quite a lot. And especially in the touristy areas, they start to close off areas so people cannot get there anymore. Because these are working farms. Those people work a whole year to get their crop like it is. And then it cannot be trampled by somebody who just want a pretty photo. So that's something to really take into mind. I have a selfie photo guide that could do's and don'ts in the tulip fields on my website. So that's something I would check out.
Yeah.
And then, really try to figure out, because there's so many smart things you can do. There's so many tips on Facebook Reels and with photography to still make amazing photos, even if you stand on the sidelines.
Yeah.
So that would be a tip that I would like to give people.
Perfect.
And dress in layers. Because it's the Netherlands.
Yeah.
You're not the Mediterranean. It's beautiful, but it's still with the Netherlands.
Excellent. Thank you so much for coming on. That was fun.
Thank you so much for inviting me.
We finally got on. I really need to perfect it. I need to understand what I'm doing wrong. So I think I needed to invite you.
I think it makes two of us. That's completely fine. And you need to come over and we need to do the tulip fields together.
Yes,
Very soon.
Yes, I really want to do it. It's definitely on my bucket list. And I definitely have you as my guide. Okay,
Awesome.
I'll
Thank
speak
you so
to you
much.
soon.
It was fun.
No worries. See ya. Bye.
Bye.
Thank you for joining me on the Truly Expat Travel podcast. If you liked this episode and you found it valuable, then why don't you go ahead and like and subscribe so that you don't miss an episode moving forward. I've got some amazing guests and some fantastic destinations coming up. But if this is the episode and this is the destination that you really want to go to, then I suggest you head over to trulyexpattravel.com, where you'll find travel guides and deep dive into this sort of destination. If that's not what you want and you can't find an episode that is a destination you want to travel to, then head over and follow me on Facebook, Instagram, and TikTok, because I'm pretty sure you'll find something there. In the meantime, safe travels, and I'll see you next week.